And welcome back to this installment in the video series Beginner Data Science Project or Walkthrough. So in this video, we're going to examine the data set. Again, just a quick reminder that the purpose of this blog post is to provide you with another opportunity to practice or walk through the data science workflow in an abbreviated form and to provide you with the code and the explanation you need to complete the project um, on your own. And so thereby learning, expanding the learning, and increasing your confidence. So um, as I said, we're examining the data set. So this data set is hosted on the University of California at Irvine or UCI machine learning repository. We have a link to the website. Um, so there are many, it's a great tool. There are many data sets on this website covering all kinds of topics that have been donated, for researchers like yourself, because I strongly believe that, by going through these exercises together, you are joining the community. It's not a question. So welcome to that and congratulations. Um, and so anyway, but they host different data sets and so you can download them, browse them, and work with them as long as you cite them appropriately. So anyway, this data set is looking at the wine quality of Portuguese wine, red and white wine. Um, it's split up into two comma separated value data sets that are available for download. So when you go to the website, like I said, there's a description which I've pasted below about the attribute information, the variables, and the target information. So this particular data set, um, the data sets, parent data sets, I should say, was gathered from sensors um, for each sample of wine. So that the sensors are measuring the variables, things such as fixed acidity, volatile acidity, citric acid, pH level, total sulfur dioxide, density, alcohol, etc. And then what they did is, so they did all of that, so they got these measurements, and then they had wine experts test each sample and score them from 0 to 10, 0 being very bad quality wine and 10 being excellent quality. So, so the variables are the potential um, elements that lead to or contribute to the score. So the score, overall score, um, which is the quality of the wine, which is our target. So that's exactly what we're trying to predict. We know the answer for each variable. We know the score from 0 to 10. But what we're trying to do is to predict, find the best model to predict. And when you read the data set information, and again, I suggest you read everything, it actually gives you some clues as to, it talks about a particular model called support vector machines that worked well, and it gives you some detail about the balance of the class, meaning that most wines were not excellent wines or awful wines. They were in the middle. They were, an average score. And also talks about clustering that you can use to find the outliers, and regression. So those are good clues for us as data scientists. You won't always have these clues, but if you think about, and as you learn more in your studies or self-studies about data science, then that will point you, like when you're thinking about the problem. Like that's why the statement of the problem that we did in the previous video is so important, because it leads you to identify, like, what am I trying to do? And when you know what you're trying to do or to solve, then that will lead you to the best course of action. Like, is it a classification problem? Is it a regression problem? Is it a time series problem. There's different types of problems. Are you working with text or text analysis? So there's many different types of problems, and each problem type has a set of tools that can help the data scientist solve it. So again, we're trying to define the best model to classify based upon the variables or the attributes or the features. We call them features. Like the pH and the alcohol level. Like how does that lead to the overall wine quality score? So that is the task, and so you'll go to the web page and you will download the two. There's a white and a red wine data set. Let's go ahead and go to the web page here, so you can see what it looks like. Okay. Here you go. So again, you have the name, wine quality, data set. You have the data set information, which we pasted in. You have data set description and data folder. So when you click on data set description, you have the citation. So if you're using this in your own research, they're asking you to cite it. That's always important. So please take care with citation. And then you have information on like the title, how this study was used. You have the breakdown of, so you can see that there were about 1,600 red wine samples and 4,898, so almost 4,900 white wine samples. So that's interesting. It says these data sets can be viewed as classification or regression tasks. Like, that's a big help. Because you don't always. Sometimes you have to figure out. You have to think about like what it is. But they're telling you that this is the way that you should go as a data scientist. Says the classes are ordered and not balanced. Says outlier detection algorithms could be used to detect a few excellent or poor wines. And it says that they're not sure if all the input variables are relevant, so there's a possibility for feature selection. So you absolutely want to take the time. Also, it assures us that there are no missing attribute values, which is awesome. Typically, we're not this fortunate. So that's great news. So you want to take the time to read it, and then once you do that, you can go. And again, this is a summary of what was on the previous page, but from here, you can go to the data folder, and here you see we have wine quality, red and white. And then there's this one that says names, which again goes back to, that's the data description we were looking at just a second ago. So going back, and then you can click on, and you can see this is the header row. So these are the variable titles, and then this is the quality at the end. So you could see in the first row that this sample, and again, they broke this whole thing out into red and white. So we're looking at red. The first red sample had a 5 wine score, 5 out of 10. So it was right in the middle. And then these are information about readouts of fixed acidity. We have, so if we go 4 back, so 1, 2, 3, 4, we see that the pH level is 3.51. And so that's what this is. And as you probably remember from a previous video, you would download this save page as. You can download this in your file folder. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Red. Okay, I'm going to do that also. I'm going to hit the back button and then do it again for the white wine. And as you can see, it's the same header, so that's good. So that's an apples to apples kind of comparison. Again, you have to be careful about these things. Sometimes things are missing. So I'm saving this white wine, wine quality CSV file in my folder. Okay. All right. So now we have the data stored. Awesome. And so in the next video, um, it also I have set up the Jupyter Notebook, which again, in the video linked above for installation, it goes through how to set up the Jupyter Notebook. But it's really easy if you want to see how, if you haven't done it yet. So I'm in the folder, Add in Blog Post, and all I would do is you could, from this folder, you could type Jupyter Notebook. I misspelled it. Okay, and this will launch, and then from there, once it launches, you can create your notebook, and it will live in that folder, which is what you want. So I can click New, Conda Environment, Anaconda, Python Notebook here, and there you go. And you can save it. You can call this Wine Quality NB or Notebook. Okay? Okay. Great. So let's see. Sorry. Okay. So we've done step one. We've done step one, which is download and store the data set. Step two, which is set up the Jupyter Notebook. And in the next section, we're going to run the notebook and load the data. Start running and plugging in the notebook and going through the steps of the data science project. So you don't want to miss that. Again, thank you for watching. Post any comments or questions in the box below. Thank you.